time. It's time to shine. Check it. You must be out your mind. Even your third eye is blind sometime. You seen the sign, still cross the line. This life will throw curves and sliders. In times of trouble, we struggle, but the beast inside you must come out, or it's famine. System set up to damage you. Unless you work around the scandalous and mismanagement, I ran with it. I became more than I was supposed to, but wouldn't listen to the voices of oppressors who try to keep a brother down. Nah, I ain't having that. I'm after that cabbage black. I felt more than I succeeded at. Life lessons had a brother stressing. Nearly died at my adolescence, but I kept stepping and I kept repping black unity. Never forgot where I came from. I'm on some generational wealth. It takes one to change one. So I'm here to give you game if you game, son. Cause it's game on. It's the same song. If you ain't grinding, you won't last long. You know the story, man. I can't find a job, it's because the man. I never let another man hold me. My pops told me, son, be the best at anything you do. Protect that. Your family first, your project. I keep you out the projects. My pop's logic, but I hear him though. Now my kids got the blueprint to prove it. Maneuvering around the bullshit. That could be you too, we do this. Just believe in yourself, till wealth comes, no Gucci belt. Let's invest in self, let's digest hate, turn it to power. No protesting, that was last year. We ain't asking, fuck your stimulus, fuck your vaccine. I'm a black king, not only for blacks though. This is for those that feel left behind, can't find steps to climb. Let me testify, we got fish to fry, we don't wish to die, man. Turn the anger to love. Stop begging these fools, just take it and run. On, son, we had a dream, then we woke up. We focused, take notice. We own it, till we own it. Yeah, that's right. Stand up, let's ride. Love. What's up, everybody? How y'all doing today? It's your boy Love. Welcome to the show. Tonight we're gonna mix things up a little bit. It's National Women's History Month, and it's also International Women's Day, both in one. So ladies, mothers, queens, we love you. We will be nothing without you, and we will be nothing without your contribution to this world. You don't get the credit you deserve, and we think that's bullshit. Well, today, and for this whole month of March, here at the Wake Yo Ass Up show, we salute you. And these next few stories will be all about you because we love you so much. So are you ready? All right. Harry and his wife are having hard financial times, so they decide that she's gonna be a hooker. She's not quite sure what to do, so Harry says, stand in front of the bar, honey, and pick up a guy. Tell him that you charge $100. If you have any questions, I'll be right here in the parking lot around the corner. So she's standing there for about 5 minutes when a guy pulls up and says, how much? She says, $100. He says, well, all I got is 30. She says, hold on. And she runs to the back to where Harry's at, and she asks, what can he get for 30? Harry said, a hand job. Harry replied. So she runs back and tells the guy all he gets for $30 is a hand job. So he agrees. She gets in the car. He unzips his pants, and out pops this huge penis. She stares at it for a minute, then she says, I'll be right back. So she runs back over to Harry and asks, can you loan this guy $70? Oh, I'm not done with you. I'm not done with you. All right, the man approached this very beautiful woman in a large supermarket and asked, you know, I've lost my wife in here at the supermarket. Can you talk to me for a couple of minutes? The lady said, why? Well, because every time I talk to a beautiful woman, my wife appears out of nowhere. Ain't that the damn truth? Boy, boy, boy. We're not done with you. We're not done with you. All right. Walking home after a girls' night out, two women passed a graveyard and they had to pee. So the first woman stops, but she has nothing to wipe with. So she uses her underwear and then she tosses them. Her friend, however, finds a ribbon on a wreath, so she uses that.
The next day, the first woman's husband phones the second woman's husband furious. My wife came home last night without any panties. The other guy said, well, that's nothing, says the other. Mine came home with a card stuck between her ass that said, from all of us at the fire station, we'll never forget you. Hold on. Hold on. I can't. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right. I'm sorry. I'm going to hell. I'm definitely going to hell for that one. Let me find out where I'm at because I done lost my place. How y'all doing tonight, man? Look, I've been waiting all week, man, to tell y'all to wake your ass up. It's your boy Love, man. We miss you and we love you. Look, honestly, most of my staff and the people that are in my circle are women. And I honestly think that they're more creative. I think that they're more thoughtful, and they're definitely more level-headed. So women, I'm just fucking with you. It's there's jokes is all it is. Be honest, most of the people in my company, actually, everyone that's involved with my company so far in New Estrena are women, and we couldn't do it without you. Today in history, Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 disaster. How many of you guys remember that? That's March 8th. 2014. The aircraft disappears from air traffic controllers' radar screens. Malaysian military radar continued to track the aircraft as it deviated westwards from its planned flight path and crossed the Malay Peninsula. It left the range of Malaysian military radar while over the Andaman Sea, 200 nautical miles northwest of Penang in northwestern Malaysia. The aircraft and its 12 Malaysian crew members and 227 passengers, then they disappeared with no distress call. Where are we at? No distress call was done. And that was, I don't know if you guys remember that, but that was, nobody knew what happened with that plane. It just fucking disappeared. And then you have all these conspiracy theorists on there talking about aliens and they talking about portals or maybe it got shot down. I don't think they ever figured out what happened to that. All right, next story. Slave for life. Check this shit out. You know, we always want to blame somebody else. Check this shit. This shit right here blew my mind. And I knew there was some crazy shit going on during the slave days, but this shit right here really, this is before, I guess, the slaves over here. But March 8th, 1655. John Caesar becomes the first person of African descent in the 13 colonies to be declared a slave for life as a result of a civil suit. Caesar sued his owner, Anthony Johnson, a free black, arguing that he had been imported as a 7 to 8 year indentured servant and was being forced by Johnson to serve past his term of indentured servitude. He was freed and went to work for Robert Parker as an indentured, I can't even say the word, servant. Johnson then sued Parker for Caesar's services, claiming Caesar was his slave for life. Johnson won, and Caesar was then returned to Johnson, where he remained in servitude for the rest of his life. This has also sustained the right of free blacks to own slaves. Johnson was an Angolan colonist, one of the original indentured 20 and odd Negroes brought to Jamestown in 1619. By 1623, Johnson had completed his indenture and was a free Negro. He then acquired land and start raising livestock, eventually become prosperous enough to import 5 indentured servants. Note, African John Punch was the first man documented as a slave in the Virginia colony in 1640. He was sentenced to life in servitude. So the server, I guess they wouldn't call them slaves then, it's pretty much still the same shit. So he sued the dude because he did his time already. So he went with somebody else, and then the dude sued him, and then he won him for life. And you talk about the criminal system being fucked up. That's criminal system being fucked up for you. All right, and to a lighter note, invented the ice cream bar, Christian Kent Nelson. He died in March 8th, 1992. Danish-born American ice cream vendor, he patented the first ice cream bar in 1922. Nelson's patent was to provide a frozen dainty comprising a form-retaining block or brick of ice cream or the like, also to provide an encasement, therefore, which facilitates its ready handling. He originally sold them as ice cream bars, but later partnered with the local chocolate producer, Russell C. Stover, to mass produce them under the name Eskimo Pie. Nelson received the inspiration for his invention when a boy came in his store and he was unable to decide whether he wanted to buy an ice cream or a chocolate bar. So he ventured forth to find a way to combine the two. First use of an artificial heart on a human, March 8, 1952. March 8, 1952, a 41-year-old male was kept alive for 80 minutes. It didn't work that long, but it did work. So that was progress. All right, guys, April 1st, mark your calendars. I'm going to be releasing the EP Free Game. I hope you get that. Now, this release is going to be a little bit different in terms of how most of the music is released. It's an 8-song EP. It has some interludes with me speaking in between some of the songs. Now, I will release the songs where they're individual, but I also will be releasing the EP as one track. What that means is there is no skipping. It's very important for me, for those that are interested in listening to this EP Free Game, that you hear it from beginning to end. It was put together to be heard that way. So you will be able to just hit it once. It's only about 24 minutes for the whole thing, and hopefully you'll get some free game. We're going to be talking about empowerment. We're going to be talking about ownership. We're going to be talking about generational wealth, and we're going to be talking about all of these things that's in a way that is still entertaining in the form of music. So I hope that you guys like that. We're going to put it out on SoundCloud and also on Dat Piff. All right, let's talk about tonight's show. The most dangerous thing about stress is that we normalize it. We don't notice how much it's affecting us, but it shows up in our everyday actions and behaviors. All of that comes out of sweating the small shit. That's the title of tonight's show, Sweating the Small Shit. But it's actually just a byproduct of being overwhelmed emotionally and physically by stress. Now, we already have enough shit going on in our life to be focusing on the small shit. It just doesn't make sense to me. Now, and we're going to talk about this. I'm going to stress this a few times. I do believe in depression. I do believe that someone can be clinically depressed, and I do believe that it can lead to some major issues, suicide, homicide, all kind of shit. I do believe that. But this show is about us talking about, or people perceiving what they're feeling in their emotions as being stressed when it's being depression, when it's really not. And we have a small video later on that's going to help me explain that. Now, as we get older, we stop stressing about shit. Now, you know, as old people, we complain about other shit, but we really stop stressing about the small things that young people stress about. And one of the reasons is because we've been there and we've done that. You know, it's not healthy to sit there and worry about every fucking thing that's going on in your life. It's really not. So at some point in life, man, you just gotta let shit go. If you can't change it, then let that shit go. Because at the end of the day, if it's not gonna hurt you or kill you or hurt your family or some serious shit, whatever it is, it's just adversity. And you'll be able to get around it. I think it's important to find Zen, and you hear people talking about that all the time. It's not just meditating and listening to the music and doing yoga and shit. Finding Zen really is just a term where you find inner peace. Once you're able to find peace within yourself, it's only going to help you in so many ways. You stress yourself out, you fuck around and stroke out, have a heart attack, and be fucking dead sitting there worrying about shit. So it's important to find Zen. It's important to think before you talk. You know, this is something that I still work on every day. Most of the fucking people in penitentiary wish they would have done this shit. Because most of the irrational decisions is why people are sitting in jail right now, because they did shit right then and there. You got to learn how to be a little bit more peaceful about things. When you're peaceful and you find Zen, you can focus. Once you can focus, you can really take care of the things in your life that are important. And that's moving yourself forward. And that's everything that we talk about in this show, finding happiness. You will never find true happiness if you're sitting there worrying about every fucking thing that's going on in your life. Now, it's also important, I think, to keep perspective. Keep everything in perspective. I think life is about perspective. If you keep everything where it needs to be and understand shit, understand why people do things they do, understand why people say the things they do, and not just react to every little thing that goes on, your life is just going to be so much better, man. Trust me when I tell you that. Because it's just not worth it. And at the end of the day, it's really not that fucking big of a deal anyway. Have you ever had some shit go on in your life and you get all pissed off and you react and you do all kind of stupid shit, and then an hour later you feel bad for it? Have you ever argued with your old lady or argued with your boyfriend and 10, 15 minutes later you back with the pout face apologizing and shit? You know, it's because we're so quick as a people to react. Now, maybe it's because you had a bad day and you just waiting for a motherfucker to fuck up. Who knows? But at the end of the day, man, listen, when they say count to 10, it's the truth. Count your ass to 10 and stop worrying about every fucking thing. And once you start worrying about everything, what happens is you think that you're depressed. You're sitting in the house and you're all emotional. Depression is a real thing, but it's also it's a clinical reason for this shit. You having just emotions because some shit happened bad to you is not depression. That shit comes and goes. You are going to be sitting there the whole time, so you got to make sure that you paying attention to what's going on, and you also find zen. Okay, so calm the fuck down. That's what we're talking about tonight. Now, the reality of sweating the small stuff can lead to anxiety and feelings of depression for no reason. Now, don't get me wrong. Depression is real. Like I said, most of us think that we are depressed and we're not. We're just fucking not. You might sit up there and say it, but you're just not. And sometimes it's easier to fucking have a bad attitude. Sometimes it's easier just to think everything in your life is fucked up. You're giving yourself excuses. Stop giving yourself excuses. Put that shit to the side. Keep your life in perspective. Walk one fucking foot after another and keep on going with what your game plan is, man. We're too busy making excuses. There's a term in my song, and this might be a little controversial because let me say it the right way. There's a lyric in one of my songs that we're talking about the blueprint, and we're talking about how, you know, for generations, you know, people that are oppressed, not only people of color, poor people that are oppressed, you know, we have excuses. And you know, we always talk about this term, white privilege. Now, is there a such thing as white privilege? Yeah, there's a such thing as white privilege. Is white privilege really keeping you from being where you need to be? Not anymore. I don't think so. I think it creates more adversity for you. I really do. But at the end of the day, it doesn't make shit impossible. You got too many rich black people. You got too many rich Hispanics. You got too many rich Mexicans. You got too many rich Arabs. Everybody's getting money, but we make excuses. So the same thing kind of with this depression that I'm talking about with the emotions. And what I actually think white privilege is actually guidance. And it's not just really white privilege to me. It's just guidance. You know, the haves and the have-nots. The haves just operate differently than the have-nots. So anyway, with that being said, it's the same concept. When you're sitting there and you're worried about shit and you're being depressed, you're really just making excuses. So it's really time to just lighten your load, keep things in perspective, be positive. Start thinking positive. Stop trying to break down everything in your fucking life like it's a negative, because it's really not. We're so busy picking apart the negative shit that's going on in our life that we stop and we fail to celebrate the victories. And that's what we have to do. Now, perhaps you unconsciously think that if you worry enough, you can prevent bad things from happening. But the fact is, worrying can affect the body in ways that may surprise you. When worrying becomes excessive, it can lead to feelings of high anxiety and even cause you to be physically ill. Have you ever been so fucking high on your anxiety that you just start jittering and you feel sick? These are all emotions. Me and my friend had this conversation the other day. She was saying depression is real. It is real. I'm like, it is real. But at the end of the day, the healthier you are mentally, the quicker you can dismiss depression because it is an emotion that comes and goes. It's something that can come and it can go, but you're still there. So you can't be consumed with something in your life that enters and leaves. You're still there. You're the real thing. Everything else is a passing phase. But now, the people that are really deep depressed and clinically depressed, they can find themselves where emotionally they can't deal with that. So then that depression just sits there and festers. But for most people, honestly, really just kind of making an excuse. Now, what is the relationship between stress and depression? Let's talk about that. Depression has many possible causes, such as genetics, brain chemicals, and your life situation. Chronic stressful life situations can increase the risk of developing depression if you aren't coping with the stress well. There's also increasing evidence of links among poor coping, stress, and physical illness. Again, deal with the stress. How can you deal with the stress? Keeping shit in perspective and not allowing the small shit to get to you. If you learn how to fight that shit in the beginning, it's not going to turn into depression, y'all. I promise you. Every time at the end of my show, what I tell you, the population, positive energy on the population because we need that shit. That's not just a phase. That's not just a phrase. That's some real shit. Start living your life positive, and I promise you, shit's going to change. Now, it took me years to figure this out, and I still fight with it. I'm not perfect. I'm always in deep thought. I'm working out details on stuff, or I might find myself worrying about shit that can happen. It's just really a waste of space, and I have to remind myself of that. We need to focus. All worrying is fear. Fear of what might happen, and we just really don't have time for that. When we dwell on the future, we have fear. We get anxiety. Why? Because of something that might happen? Really think about it. It sounds silly if you put it out in terms like that. So you want to make sure that we are not worrying about the future. Fuck the past. You can't do shit about that, but learn from it. Everything needs to be right now in the present. Once you start learning how to live in the present and shrugging off shit that makes you stress, I guarantee you your life's going to be a lot better. You're going to be happier. And that's what the whole objective of this shit is to be happy no matter what it is you're doing. Now, we have a video. I told you guys, tonight's not a long show, but we do have a video. It's from our homie, Prince EA. He's had several videos on our show. And it's called, simply, You Are Not Depressed. We're about to check it out now. Wake your ass up.
You are not depressed. Stop saying that. Oh, snap. I got people mad already, ready to go off on me in the comments. How dare you question my depression? Hold on. Don't be so quick to protect that which causes you suffering. Let's speak honestly. You may be experiencing a depression right now, but you are not depressed. And I'm going to show you why. And this shift, if remembered, will change your life forever. You ready? See, you are the sky. Depression, frustration, sadness, these are passing clouds. They come, they go. Some are black, some are white. Sometimes they pepper the sky, and sometimes they fill the sky. But they always come and go. Because they, even though they seem like it, are not the sky. If they were, then when they went, the sky would go too. And the sky is always there. So likewise, if frustration, depression, and sadness were you, then when they went, you would go. But that's not what happens, is it? But no, you are always here. You are that which these things appear in front of. You are the witness, the perceiver of depression. And that which perceives depression is not depressed. See, imagine this remote control is depression. So you got you, and then you got depression. Depression comes, it goes. It comes, it stays for a while, it goes. But you are always here. Big problems come when you start to identify as depression. Never identify with that which comes and goes. Now pause the video right now and take some time with this. This is life-changing. There's an old saying, before enlightenment, I was depressed. After enlightenment, still depressed. But it's totally different now. I no longer identify with the depression. I realize that it wasn't me. I observe it, allow it to come and go without resisting it. This is freedom. This is truth. You are greater than anything that comes and goes.
What do you guys think about that? It's the truth. I believe that. Now, I'm not telling you what to do. I can't make you believe anything. But I will tell you this. Your rent's overdue. What you gonna do? Your car payments due. What you gonna do? Are you gonna sit there and worry about the shit? You can never handle adversity. You can never handle the things that are hitting you in life as long as you're scared. And we just talked about that. Worrying about the future ain't nothing but fear. So why be scared? Just handle it. At the end of the day, you're gonna be okay. See, most of us oppressed people, or that's been oppressed, not even oppressed, most of us poor people that come from not having a whole lot, we used to that kind of shit. We used to the rent being late. We used to, so sometimes you'll see a family that's used to that shit and they don't even let it bother them. But then you have someone, the first time the rent late, they all freaking out and shit. Listen, it ain't nothing but struggle. And a little bit of struggle is good for you. It builds character, trust me. If you can't pay the rent, just smile and say, that's all right, I pay the shit when I can pay the shit. And if your car payment's late, say, look, come get the motherfucker. But at the end of the day, nothing is worth your mental space. Nothing is worth the stress and the anxiety, because none of that shit's gonna matter if you stroke the fuck out and die right there on the spot. So it don't matter if your rent's due or not, all right? So I wanna thank you all for tuning in. I wanna say thank you to all the beautiful women in the world. Enjoy your day, International, and enjoy your month, women, even though you own the whole fucking year. But we're gonna celebrate y'all ass all month long. Populate some positive energy on the population, because we need that shit. Remember, we're gonna find Zen this week, okay? Somebody's talking shit to you, don't hit them in the face. I know you want to, but don't hit them in the face. Just find Zen and walk away, all right? Much negative people, though, to the negative section. Why? Fuck them. We don't need them. And until next week, y'all, I love you. Y'all be good out there and be safe. Peace.
Y'all know that time, it's time to rise, it's time to grind. We cross the line, you know the time, it's time to shine. Check it, you must be out your mind. Even your third eye is blind sometime. You seen the sign, still cross the line. This life will throw curves and sliders. In times of trouble, we struggle, but the beast inside you must come out, or it's famine out. System set up to damage you. Unless you work around the scandalous and mismanagement, I ran with it. I became more than I was supposed to, but wouldn't listen to the voices of oppressors who try to keep a brother down. Nah, I ain't having that. I'm after that cabbage black. I felt more than I succeeded at. Life lessons had a brother stressing. Nearly died at my adolescence, but I kept stepping and I kept repping black unity. Never forgot where I came from. I'm on some generation